This is one of Canada's most recognizable mountain peaks. Three Sisters near Canmore, Alberta, Canada. Over time, the peaks have been given identities. Left is faith, middle is charity, and right is hope. Now I'm looking for negative and positive shapes. Sometimes I even redraw the shapes. The nice thing about acrylic is you can work on top very quickly. You don't have to wait for it to dry like oils, but you have to work a little bit faster than oils, a lot faster. Sometimes I have to redraw some areas if I'm not very happy with them, or if they think they should be stronger and define more. I'm going to pick a color that I believe is going to be strong against the mountains, but you can't use the same blue, so I'm using more of a turquoise that will stand out a little bit more to the cobalt color in the mountains. Putting in some of my favorite colors, and everybody will be different. I like some of the purples in the foreground. When you have a day like that, you're going to have a lot of contrast. That's what I'm trying to pick up in this video and with this painting. A lot of people use filberts, which are fine. I use them sometimes too, but when I'm doing mountains, I just find that you need a little bit more sharpness. I've had a lot of experience with plein air painting, and it does get difficult sometimes because you may have a day that clouds are coming over and changing the whole look of what the mountain does or the foreground does. So there are some advantages of working in the studio. Sometimes you have to go back and reestablish some of the lights and also check your values and how the whole thing is pulling together. So you may have an idea what things are going to look like when you start the canvas, but then be willing to change as it goes along. Every painting has a different character, so you have to go with it. You have to see what the painting is really telling you. So you're working with it, not against it. Sometimes they need to be warm grays, and sometimes they have to be cool grains, depending on what is next to it. I like to have a combination of both the small, the middle, and the large shapes. I always find that purple and green go quite nicely together. I've been painting a long time. I've been lucky that I had a very good older brother that was a very good painter that helped me out, and we used to go on location quite a bit. And we've gone to places like the south of France and painted there. We've done painting in Ontario, Northern Ontario a lot. I recommend you go out there to Canmore and see what's going on there. It's a beautiful place to paint. As you can see, I'm having a lot of fun with this, reestablishing parts of areas and things like that, and putting little bits of snow if it needs it, or and don't forget, you're painting the painting, you're not painting the photograph. There's a whole lot of difference between the one thing and the other. Try and ask yourself questions. And I've always found when I'm teaching that I've told my students, if you ask the right questions, you probably end up getting the good answers. I really enjoy going out on location. It's pretty difficult sometimes though. You have problems with the light changing. You've got bugs coming around you and those sort of things. So it's a little challenging, but it is so great to do that. By the way, I'd recommend you to go and see what it's like in Alberta and BC, Canada. You would find some beautiful places in the typical areas that people go to, or you can go off the beaten path and see what happens. You always find something great to paint, so I would say go out and see it. It's all coming together now. I'm really concerned about the shapes now to make sure they work together. The negative parts are just as important too as your positive. Shapes. And by the way, I don't just work on canvas, I also work on wood panels, which are fabulous. But they have a different feel, completely different feel to it. And I recommend you try that. Some people like to put one coat of gesso on and see how that works. Some people like 2, and some people even like 3. You can also put texture in it too, if you like. When you're in a good state and you feel good, the painting seems to work with you.